Okay. First and foremost, you may have noticed one of my videos kind of went away. This is going to be a just me talking video, but I wanted to explain this little point of what happened to the last video. It wasn't taken down by YouTube or anything. It was taken down by an iOS app, the YouTube app for my iOS iPod Touch. Apparently, there was a small glitch in the damn thing, and I was already signed in, and it went away. It's gone, and I had no backup of that video because it was just me talking video, and there's no reason for me backing up these videos. They're mostly just pointless videos, so it's gone. That video was deleted through a glitch. Fuck you, YouTube. And by the way, I tried commenting on a USA video, and it wouldn't let me make the comment at all on anything. The video was perfectly fine, and YouTube has this thing about saying if you try to post a web page or something on there, you can't post. But apparently, it's now thinking that I'm trying to post a web page through a simple paragraph. Fucking Google, stop fucking up on your goddamn fucking programs. A paragraph is just a paragraph, and fucking learn how a goddamn web page is typed out on a goddamn web browser. And fix your iOS app, you dumbass idiots. I deleted a well, I didn't. You deleted a fucking video. Okay, now let's get on to my other reason why I made this video, the real reason. And there's a lot of talk, and the talk's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Besides the November 22nd, if anybody saw that video before it was deleted, you know, the November 22nd release, which I think is a kind of a fail for Microsoft. And the main reason why is because Microsoft had plenty of time to come up with a better date than November 15th of what Sony had planned for the United States. Yeah, they have it in November 26th for the rest of Europe, but that's only 4 days. They would have had 2 weeks, or maybe even more, or maybe even a week ahead, more than 4 days, and Microsoft blew it. They just blew it. Yes, they boosted their CPU and GPU, more like a last minute boot, performance boosts, whatever, or clock speed boosts, which really didn't do much for the console. Yeah. And like I said in the video before it was deleted, I'm still worried about performance issues with the 3 OSs. But anyways, here's the reason why I made this video. Do I think the Xbox One was rushed? And I'm going to be openly honest. If you asked me this question 3 or 4 months ago, even before the Xbox One was revealed, and we all thought it was the Xbox 720 or the Xbox Infinity or whatever, I'd have said no. I really do mean that. I would have said no. I don't think the Xbox was rushed, and I think Microsoft has got this plan laid out. A stupid plan, but a plan. And but now I kind of think they did rush it out the door. I don't think they had a plan at all. I think they were going to stick with their 360 all the way through, and that, you know, and they were agreeing with all these people saying, we don't need next gen. You know, the people who are going against Nintendo's new Wii U, like, we don't need this next gen. The current gen is good enough. It's good enough for all our games right now. This next gen doesn't be needed. We can still keep going for another at least 3 or 4 more years. If you want a good example of people who are spouting this insanity out, just go to Samuel the Tech Geek's video YouTube page and just look at his past videos. He was one of the many idiots who was blabbing this shit out. What made me change my mind was the mounting evidence. First of all, the polishing shifting on the Connect. I'm not going to say the DRM shit because they probably had that plan for a while, but the DRMs, and that failed miserably, anyways. But the policies of the Connect, like, do you need to connect on or off and all this shit and all that crap, and just Microsoft flip flopping the way they were. And then you had the E3 showing, not really the E3 main show, but the side show, where it was found out that they were using low powered PCs to demo Xbox One games, while the PlayStation 4, or Sony was using PlayStation 4 to demo, PlayStation 4 games. And that was a critical what the fuck. And of course, they're using Xbox One controllers with those low powered PCs when they said that there's going to be no support. What the hell? And then you got that the Kinect doesn't support all languages for some reason. And as an added to that, you got no external hard drive support on launch, which literally makes no sense from Microsoft's perspective. In fact, there's a whole host of features that are going to be missing from the Xbox One that are just missing. And these are features that should have been there on launch that would have made sense. I mean, even Nintendo console has some of these features available on launch. I mean, Sony, well, most people believe that Sony was making their console right after the PlayStation 3 was released. Yeah, that's somewhat true. And somewhat false, too. I'm not bashing on Sony, but we all know the PS3 was a complete clusterfuck of a console. And basically, and most of you don't know, but the original guy who made PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, whose name I can't remember, he was fired. He was developing on a PS4 of his own, and the designing was going to use a cell processor just like on the PS3. And Sony really, and they didn't keep this a secret. They weren't really developing a PS4 for a while, all the way up until 2008. Starting from 2005, I believe, when the PS3 came out, to 2008, Sony had nothing. In fact, Sony was having massive problems. Their, internal business struggles were going on, and mostly everybody in the tech fields of Sony, especially with the new PlayStation 4, didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and it was just all over the place. But I think by 2008 they started getting a better idea and clarifying themselves, and then started taking a whole different approach. They scrapped the old shit behind and went a completely different approach. And that's what led on to the PS4 that we know now, with a much better policy, much more better shit that was going on, and them being much more clear-minded about what the fuck they were doing. But for a while, hell, PlayStation didn't even have a boss for a while. They had no idea where they were taking shit, what they were doing with anything. And their policies were just going out the window, and it was just absolute chaos. But I do believe from 2008 until now, Sony had a clear idea of their visions and what to do. Maybe even 2007 they had a clear vision, but Sony did have a much more longer time. As for Microsoft, I just think they were just raking in the money and just stopped giving a shit halfway through. Maybe they had plans for another Xbox, but as soon as the money started coming in, and with Sony's complete clusterfuck of a console, and then Microsoft can just and Microsoft not having a real challenger for a while, it's like, hey, you know what? We're gonna put up this Xbox Live, and we're gonna put everything behind a paywall. And there's not a thing people are going to do about it. What are they going to do? Go to Sony? Yeah. Yeah, everybody was fucked. There was just nowhere else to go. You go to Xbox Live, or you can go to the catastrophe known as PlayStation 3, and and I'm gonna say this: PlayStation Plus, when it first started, didn't look so well. In fact, Sony's entire online service was a complete joke, and nobody liked it at all. And of course, as usual, Bethesda released a bunch of shitty games that didn't work. But times are different. Times change, things change, companies change, and guess what? Sony's got a policy now. They got better online now. They got a cheaper fucking console, and they got a better fucking service and a plan. And Microsoft, well, they were just shoveling all that money that they stopped giving a shit a long time ago. Which, by the way, Microsoft has done before. Before the Xbox even came into existence. Microsoft has done this shit before and started shoveling money all the way back when Apple was fucking up. And Microsoft was just getting the money, raking in the money from that catastrophe. The problem is, this isn't like, oh, well, in every third generation, all these console makers, have their little period of self-exaltment and shit. Microsoft has the problem of they've done this before. They've always done this shit before. And they're doing this now with the Xbox One. It's an old habit of theirs. Once you rub that ego of theirs, then they really start doing the fuck over. Yeah, but when a console hits their third generation, they usually get a little, get their noses in the air and start getting into the selfish little stage. But Microsoft, this is just this is just the usual business for them. Getting our nose stuck up in the air and not giving a flying fuck what everybody else thinks. We've done this before. Hell, we'll do it again. Here comes the wave of bullshit. So yeah, I think Microsoft rushed their console. I really do. I think they rushed it. At first, I didn't think they'd be so stupid enough. But then again, I didn't think they would be so stupid enough to try to run with the DRM shit. Boy, was I wrong about that. What makes that as embarrassing is that I know Microsoft, and I've seen Microsoft run bullshit like this before. But even I didn't think they would be this stupid. And I guess the fault kind of lands at my feet. God, I was an idiot. See ya.